Racing and Jesus with your hosts, Daniel Hillian and Mitch Reynolds.
That's right, that's right, that's right. It is episode 49 of Remain in the Race, hot off of rounds 3 and 4 of the Midwest EDT series, man. So much fun to go. Great track. We're going to get all into it. But before we do, the number 137 of Mitchell the Rocket Reynolds. How you doing tonight, Mitch?
Ooh, I kind of like that intro a little bit better. That might have been my favorite one. I'm doing good, Super D. Pumped up. I mean, lots of content to cover today for sure with 3 different builders brawl, talking about racing that happened. Maybe we just went racing, and I got to turn a bunch of laps, and I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, before we jump into it, right off the top, as always, 88 Live to Ride. We're getting closer to their end of the year auction. It's coming up. That's Loretta's. It's coming up, so make plans. It's in August. Don't miss it. Loretta's is not that far of a drive for us, so probably may sneak over there.
Yeah, the auctions are a big deal. But you can donate at any point in the year at 88livetoride.com. You can go there and donate now.
.com.
They're a nonprofit.
Yeah, so Miss Debbie Bartosik, always so much fun to visit with. Anyway, 88 Live to Ride, RJR, man, if you're needing bumpers, grab bars, all the things he offers, hit up RJR. We're going to talk about what, and we'll get there.
50-50.
Yep. B&B Motorsports, Mr. Frank Batista. If you're needing some head work or some porting or just want to talk to a cool guy, reach out to him. All Terrain Motorsports, 110% nutrition. Make sure to use our code at checkout. That is Remain. Phoenix Handlebars, you can use our code RITR15. Got a set on one Connor Cleveland's bike. He loves them. Went 4 for 4 this weekend. So
what
Phoenix,
a ride. That dude
Phoenix
was hot
literally
on it this weekend.
Steered him to a win. It's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
Sofa Brand MX. You got to wear your gear this weekend. I wore my gear. Literally didn't lose a single race. I won practice too, so that's good. We didn't race.
You did lose one.
Oh, yeah, I did. I take that back. I did lose one. Yeah.
Did. But it's okay.
It was not. It was. We'll get into it. But
okay
Sofa Brand, SofaBrandMX.com. We got that code RTRP. And also PH3 Photo and Video dude, Josh Klein dropped some. This is coming out on Wednesday. He dropped some edits yesterday from the BTR. You shoot out some stuff. So Josh is doing some really, really cool things. It is great to be partnered with him. And also our newest sponsor, partner that I am super pumped about, Kaiser Wheels. So they are big in the cross-country world. They are big in the TT world. If you go kind of search through some social media, Garrett Keister has a picture of his bike towards the end of the season last year, and it's got a full set of Kaisers on it. They're chrome. It touches my heart because when I started racing, it was all chrome wheels. Man, so cool. So Kaiser Wheels, we have a code. I think... Check back later. I'll figure out the code. But anyways, Kaiser Wheels, look them up or reach it if you're looking to buy. If you're looking for some wheels, drop us a message, drop us an email, call, text, whatever, and we will try to get you in touch with Kaiser Wheels. So super pumped on that. So, man, we got episode 49. You know any good 49s? Number 49?
No, I was thinking about that. I'm like, one of the Snap brothers was 49. I don't remember
48.
his shape. Oh, shoot.
Because he was 20. It was Chase because he was 22. Right. And then when he moved in the pro class, someone else was 22. Who was 22? And he moved to 48.
That would be Mr. Cody Miller.
That's right.
From Greenville, Texas.
Yeah. And they were also
the 49.
From Texas.
Sage Baker. Sage Baker was my man.
Sage
49. There you go.
There's a 49 that raced this weekend, last name Willard. I don't know his first name. I'd love to meet him. Or if you want to reach out, shoot me a message. I would love to connect with you. He rides a 250 and a 450.
At one point, I'm going to get used to you asking these numbers and references to a rider.
Yeah, we go in order, by the way. So if this is 49, be thinking
for... Oh, yeah, so it's no surprise.
Yeah. Hey, we got a grandstander. He's back. Round 2. He's our number 2. We're number 1, and he is our number 2. Take it how you want it. Landon Williams, what's up, bud?
Oh, not much, man. Just a terrible introduction there.
Yep, that's what I'm here for. I thought it was great. So
all the poop conversation, and he comes in as number 2.
He is, dude. So I joked about tacos all weekend. I got the opportunity to do the live stream for Eric Ashcraft. By the way, Eric, high five, dude. He is fantastic at it. I went back and watched some of that garbage I put out, and I'm so sorry for everyone that had to watch. Like, I am shaking like a dog trying to have a kidney stone.
I think that we're our biggest critics, so I think that's unfair for you to say that. Like, I watched some of it. I tuned in some, even though I was at the races, and I thought you did a good job.
The number of people, because it'll as you're doing, if you've ever done a Facebook Live, it'll say so and so is watching, so and so is, and I'm like Jamie Scott, and I'm like, Jamie, I'm literally looking at. Why are you watching? Just look out there. And then there was a couple of others, and I'm like, I know you're here at the track. Like, what are you doing?
Well, every once in a while, you go to the restroom, you get on the live feed.
That's a good point.
Okay,
good. Point. Sorry, I said good poop. But anyway, sorry, this is getting weird.
Or maybe I went over to the camper to get something to eat, and I'm like, oh, what race are they on? Because I want to know when I need to get back up there.
Yep.
To watch Brody race or watch Connor.
Yeah. Well, we get there, and Eric and I had kind of worked it out. He's like, oh, you got it, man. And so there wasn't a good place to stand. And so I saw this old janky bucket truck, and I went and asked the owners. I said, does that work? And they go, yep. And I said, can I use it? And they go, sure. They said, but once we raise you up, we got to turn the truck off or it'll overheat. So literally, if no one came and started the truck, I was just stuck up in the air. It was great. But I did have a lot of fun. I'm just being a turd. It was fun. But yeah, so we all three traveled over to Sparta, Tennessee for rounds 3 and 4 of the Midwest Series.
Just Passing Thru Raceway.
Just passing through.
And everyone needs to go pass through there. I mean, in all honesty, that track is bad to the bone. I mean, what do y'all boys think about that track?
Man, it's an awesome track.
We should probably ask the guy that raced it.
Yeah, that's true. How about the guy who actually raced it?
It was super technical. It did get a little slick, but crazy how the moisture comes just right back up as soon as nightfall. But, man, like I said, super technical. Not a place to rest on that track whatsoever.
So you raced. Mitch and I got to ride Friday night and Saturday night doing our builders thing. I haven't got arm pump like that in a long time.
No rest. That track had no rest. Turn, elevation, so many off-cambered turns.
Yeah.
But a ton of fun. I mean, it took the third time before I got out on the track before I felt like, okay, I can get a rhythm going. And then I was like, wow, I could turn a bunch of laps. And, I mean, I did get to turn a lot of laps.
Yeah.
Probably not as many as Landon.
I wanted to, but, dude, I felt like a chump. I looked like a chump. My arms were pumped up, and I was like, good grief. And all the corners were, I mean, it turned out to make for some entertaining racing. And the track owners and stuff, they were super, hey, what do you think? How can we help? You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
super receptive. And the guy was like, hey, I set this up as a practice track for my son, and it's just kind of exploded. You know,
Absolutely.
Super cool. And the video, kind of like Black Ankle, doesn't do justice. There's a ton of elevation there.
It really is.
I mean, it's tough. There's one downhill right-hand corner that for me, it was hard for me to get to the rear brakes because I'm sitting on the right side, you know, the right fender, and it's like, oh, I need some rear brake here to kind of break it loose.
Pretty sharp, like about a 90-degree corner, and it's off camber, you're leaning, coming down the hill.
And then straight back up. You know?
Pretty good challenge, but really awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the kind of track you want to support. I mean, not only is, you know, as a father and his son, built it for his son, and they love quad racing, but then they want your feedback, and they've got all the plans on how they're going to improve the place and what they're going to do. Yeah. So that's the sort of place that we need to go when it comes to ATV racing or EDT racing in general. We want to go support those tracks who are really invested in the sport.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and two big races coming up there here really soon.
The East Coast is 2 weeks, so not this Saturday, but next Saturday, and they've got their big super mini shootout. Is that right?
I agree with you. I don't know. You sound good. There's going to be some racing there, and that's a sweet track. The split line's really cool and actually seem pretty equal most of the weekend.
Pretty even. Yeah.
So. At first, I was like, oh, dude, this one line's going to be so much faster. But then they did kind of some adjusting, and you could make some passes if you needed to. And then what was crazy was the whole time I'm just kind of watching, I'm like, dude, this thing is going to be so one line, like it's going to be one line. And it really wasn't, because the corners were kind of big and there was a little bit of a berm, but the insides had like this, I don't know if you call it a knuckle or a finger or a hump, that you really had to slow down to get over it, or you could stay kind of right in the middle on the flat. or go all the way to the. I mean, it really led to some good racing.
It did. It
Yeah,
did.
the whole track, in my opinion, promoted good racing.
It did. Like you and Kisner had some excellent battles through there,
Oh, yeah.
setting up some good lines. I mean, the passes Connor put down,
Yeah.
a couple of those. It was like, man, like that's awesome. You set up the corner before to kind of drag race into the next corner. Definitely some good racing. Just a ton of fun. I had a blast.
It was really a fun weekend. You know, I mean, it wasn't the turnout they were looking for, and I mean, it was Mother's Day weekend and schedule. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, we talked about it on the way home of, you know, what we think could work or what. But at the end of the day, dude, it was awesome. I had a absolute blast and got to Jamie Scott, I think, fed me all weekend, which was great. Miss Rachel Daniels, Jason and Rachel, their son, Braden races, getting into it, and we call him Rowdy because he's rowdy, man. And they were so much fun. We're sitting there, and she brings out this ice cream cake that you would slap everyone you know for, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I just threw this together," and we ate the whole thing. Like there was none left. It was great. And it's just so cool to get to visit and hang out. The Scotts are always cool. Got to visit with. I walked in Dusty Crouch's trailer, and Dustin Thomas was in there. And I walked in and I went to say something, and Dustin goes, "You take that attitude right back outside. Don't bring that up in here." And I was like, and then Dusty's like, "Yeah, we don't have time for it." And I'm like, I just wanted to see how you guys were doing. I don't have an attitude. And they were like, "Get out." I'm like, "Okay, I'm so sorry." But anyway, those are good guys. You got your fanny pack?
Yes.
Yeah.
My Manny pack.
Oh,
I was so pumped about it. Lisa hooked me up, and
this is
I wore it.
So when we talked
all
about
day.
this, was the last episode Landon was on?
Yeah, that is
That's
indeed
awesome.
when this all originated.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So here we've come full circle. We're
Full
back.
circle.
Yeah.
I was so excited about it, wearing it right in the front. Got my picture with you two. Ryder the whole time was like, "Dad, take it off." I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
I was
Ryder,
actually kind of doing the butt tuck, you know, kind of lean out the gut a little bit so that everybody could see my fanny pack. And then I went out there on the track and rode. I saw a couple of kids like, you know, they're snickering and pointing at me. I'm like,
hey,
yeah,
you owned it though.
I did. And you know how many things you can carry in there? Two. A wallet and a phone.
Wallet, yeah. Oh my gracious. Anyway, it was so. And Lisa goes, "Hey, did you see Mitch? I got him a fanny pack." And I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
So excited.
But yeah, I mean,
Great.
the race was awesome and it was good, and the weather was actually really nice. There was a good cool breeze, kind of in that little gully valley. I don't know what you call it, but being up in the bucket truck, there was a couple of times I was like, "Boy, I hope this thing don't turn over. It's a little windy up here," but it ended up working out fine. And so, man, I had a blast, man. It's just a day at the racetrack is way better than a day at work or doing anything else.
100% agree. Hey, what do you guys think about the state of EDT racing at this point? You know, I threw that question in there because I think you were kind of going to it. What do y'all think about where the sport's at right now? I mean, and I'll kind of preface that a little bit. Dude, there's a lot more racetracks coming around. There's a lot of series, and it seems that a person can race almost every weekend. What does that say about the state of EDT racing?
Landon? I mean,
I
I
think
think
to answer my question.
Yeah, I think it's so cool to see because for a long time there was I don't know how to say for a while, like EDT racing took this huge dip, like early 2010s, late 2000. It was kind of like the WPS guy was this huge big deal, and for whatever reason, when it fell through, just like TT racing just took a back seat and was just kind of disappeared. And one of the things, the late Billy Clayton always had something was going for EDT world. And then, you know, Sean really starts pouring into the neat, as our friend Torch says. And so there was those two series, but now you've got this Midwest series, you've got the Race Tennessee series, you've got the East Coast series, you've got the neats, and it's like, I think it's in a healtty spot, man.
Yeah, and then you've got like local series like 421. They were racing as well. So you've got a lot of spots racing.
Yeah,
you have a ton of opportunity for racing now. So that, I mean, that's really cool. I would like to see that happen here local, here in Arkansas. I
Right.
mean, here there's a track getting going here again in Arkansas, so that's cool.
Yeah.
There's not. Yes, there's a TT track going in Arkansas.
Breaking
again.
news or where?
Is there
where?
not?
Where?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna
I
have
love
to,
it.
I'm gonna have to fact check.
You're
I thought there-
sounding very confident, and
yeah,
I'm not,
I was just gonna roll it.
have
Let's
no
do
i-
it.
I mean, I hope.
Where?
I really hope you're right.
Oh, I thought there
But I haven't-
was.
I haven't
Do you
heard.
not know this podcast? We don't break news. We report news.
See, I got in trouble last time I was on here for breaking news.
Well, I was throwing
Breaking
it out
wind,
there
too.
because I thought y'all are the ones who told me that. Like Garrett had gone and rode this track or something.
Now there is a flipping track that used to be on the
Oh, a flipping track. That's why.
well, it's flipping Arkansas.
The town's literally flipping Arkansas.
So is
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
a practice track?
No, it used to be a.
it's a circle track.
yeah.
It's a dirt track.
I can't remember if it's a dirt track or if it's actual track. I never went. Your dad went, I think.
I went one time. It was a car track, but then like the quadists, like they only raced quads on that night, or
Right,
whatever
right.
it was. Yeah.
But the MWEDT had races there for some time.
Okay. All right.
But I don't know when the timeline on this was. But
I made more of that than there was. I see.
Garrett,
Okay, well, I got excited.
Call in Garrett and tell us where this track
Hey,
is.
Garrett. Let me phone him up right here.
Garrett calling
Garrett, we're
in.
calling him in.
Yeah. Just happened to call in. We didn't
Yeah.
prearrange it. But to answer your question, the state of EDT, man, it's one of those things where you look at one thing and you're like, oh man, like they're like the numbers weren't where we wanted them. I mean, call it what it was, but there was a lot of other things going on, which on one hand it's like, but on the other hand it's like, hey, that's a cool deal that there's a local series here. There's another, the Sioux Valley Cycle Club, they've got a series up there, way up in the north, don't you know?
Yes,
and so
this is true.
I think we're in a good spot. It's just weird because there's like these pockets of racers.
Yeah.
This Missouri, Arkansas pocket. There's this North Carolina giant
Big
pocket, massive pocket. Then there's way up north I'm thinking about like
New York people.
Alec
you got the-
Fuller, the White family, all of them, like the Wisconsin group. And so it's just it's weird, and so it's like, okay, do we somehow bring the EDT world together and go, okay, you guys up here have a local series, and then you guys down here and you guys over there have a local series, and then somehow try to put together like the quote unquote national series. I don't know. It's fun to be a part of. I don't know what part we are, but I
think a lot of
myself.
things can be brainstormed there for
Yeah,
sure, because
for
like you're
sure.
saying, I mean, when there's TT racing happening on the same weekend, and different numbers kind of spread out.
Mhm.
It might look like smaller races, but you're like, there's actually a good amount of racers racing on the same weekend.
Mhm.
So I think there's a lot of potential there.
I do too.
for sure.
I do
So
too.
it's exciting. I just want to throw it out there and get your thoughts.
I'm
And
here for it.
Cool.
I think it's great, and it's cool. And I'm excited to see what's happening.
Well, I'm ready for this flipping TT track.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
me too.
yeah. it would be
Flipping
cool.
TT.
It would be cool to have the sandbox is cool, but it's the same. Like what you're getting when you go there. Sand.
More clay now, though.
The word on the street.
More.
But like to have like the Twin Creeks back in the day. Like something like that, we joke, and even on the live stream I was talking about Wildman. Well, that's the guy's little practice track that we have literally in our backyard that we can go to, 10, 15 minutes away, which is awesome, but it's a great practice track. He doesn't have the space to host a big event,
This is true.
But it's a great little practice track. So, well, I don't know, Just Passing Thru started off as a practice track, and they're hosting some.
Could turn to something.
That's what Twin Creek started as well. A place for us to practice.
I think that we should just get T-Bone back in, get him some land, and
Could we just revive Twin Creeks?
I think we could.
It would be awesome.
Where the track used to be is still there. All the Gaswell stuff is like to the west.
It is. It's true.
So
There's like an office space there that could be the
one could dream.
should we start a rumor that it's coming back?
Yeah, I think Mitch just did.
I don't know. We don't own that
We're
property.
bringing Twin Creeks back. Boom. All right. Nope. Moving on.
Okay,
I'll
so
delete that.
I think we
I'll delete
probably.
Moving on.
Oh, that's good.
There we go.
Yeah.
I finally figured out the buttons
Hey,
on my board over
Well, before we just turn this thing all the way down the wrong direction,
here.
why don't we get into the Builders Brawl?
Great. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, Mitch. Now you can do. Now it's the Builders Brawl.
The 2024 Builders Brawl.
I love it, man. I'm here for it. Builders Brawl. Let's go.
This is what happens when it's late at night for me. That's why I was listening to music
Yeah.
beforehand. I try to get pumped up.
Before
you know?
I even walked in the building, I get the notification on my phone. It's time to start winding down for bed. And I'm like, dude, we're getting pumped up.
That's right. Let's go.
It's so funny because I have these mics set to where I know y'all care, but I have a compressor to where, like, if the volume gets so high, like if I get real excited and yell, it won't get any louder, and that's what just happened right then. It was great.
Really?
So yeah, the live stream doesn't have that. There
I
was a couple times.
Should have had that on your phone.
Couple times I lost my mind in the live stream, but we'll circle back to that. Yeah, Builders Brawl. Let's get into it.
All right, buddy. So the Builders Brawl number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to intro this TRX KTM 450 hybrid?
Just keep going. What else was it?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Come on, Super D. Like, this is your part.
This is my part. Give me just a second here.
All right.
Give me just a second. Sorry. This is terrible radio. I'm sorry. I needed to float a text out real quick. I have the information. I'm finding it. Just bear with me. I have it here. This
Is the build up intense?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
Landon,
yeah.
are you feeling good about this?
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see what the
Honda
scores are.
TRX 450 ER 06 up chassis with a 2024 KTM 450 SXF, the all RY Motorsports power plant with a Jet Labs throttle body. All the engine mounts are made by RY Motorsports as well. The exhaust is the new Gen 2 Empire Carbon with a custom-made header by the man himself, birthday boy Nick Kisner. Element 44 suspension, Axis shocks, custom tuned by Micah over there. I have his stuff on my cross-country bike. Shout out Micah. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, you can send us an email at remainintherace@gmail.com. And a Lone Star Axer. It has a hyper sway bar kit. It also has Galfer brakes all the way around.
Sweet. That was a much better intro
You're
to the
welcome.
Builders Brawl, baby.
So, end of last season at Indiana, got to know the Kisner family. Love them all. Nick still out. Jury's still out on that guy, but the other ones are pretty cool, especially Ryder because he's a younger brother. Landon, you're a younger brother. Mitch, you wouldn't know. But at Indiana, I was talking to Nick. He goes, "Hey, you want to ride Ryder's 350?" And I was like, "No." I'm like, "Yes." So got to ride it and made a few laps, and the 350 was awesome. And so he said, "Hey, are y'all going to be doing the Builders Brawl next year?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." He goes, "I want in." And I said, "Okay, on a 350." And he just smiled at me and said, "We'll see you next season. Just let me know what race." And I was like, "Okay."
All right.
And so once kind of our goal for this season was, hey, let's go to some tracks we haven't been to before.
Yep.
And so a couple weeks ago, Landon and I, Thursday night, are literally like, "You want to go to Paducah?" And I'm like, "No, Cooper's got ball." Oh, wait, all that got canceled. So me and Landon and his dad, Timmy, drove up Friday, came home Saturday, just a quick trip to, just cruised over to Kentucky real quick from Central Arkansas. But that we weren't planning on doing that. We knew we wanted to come here because this is a track we've never been to. Like for the NEAT series, we're going to go to Dresden. Hadn't been there, And so that's what I reached out to Nick and I said, "Hey, get through round 1, 1 and 2, figure out your stuff. And then could we ride it at Ride Your Machine in Tennessee?" He goes, "Yeah, no problem." And so we get to round 1, and Lane and I are talking with Nick and Ryan, the older brother, and he said, "Hey, this is the machine I want y'all to ride." And I look down and I go, "That's not a 350." And he goes, "Oh no, this was a surprise. This is a 450." And I said, "Oh, okay," because Ryan was his age. He's moved up to the big bike and stuff now. So, you're a big KTM guy.
Yes.
I'm a KTM guy. I like KTM.
Yeah.
we are winning quad last year. On the graphics, it literally says 2023 Builders Brawl Champ, you
It
know,
does.
the bullet quad. And so big shout out to Nick, man, for giving us the opportunity. I mean, he was just, and he said, hey, take it, ride it. What do you want me to do? You want me to change anything? I said, no. We don't change nothing. Like
No.
we don't move levers. We
I
don't,
think that's a double negative, but yeah, we don't change anything.
we know not never change.
Yeah. And we try to ride the machine exactly the way
Yep.
the rider has it set up.
Yep.
We want it to be consistent. So whichever order we go in, one of us runs 5 laps, comes in, and immediately the other rider rides 5 laps so that the track conditions are exactly the same. We're riding it exactly the way that that rider has it set up so that we can have consistency in how we score it, Landon. That's ultimately what we're trying to do, have on the same surface, the same bike setup without any changes, because Super D and I have different styles of riding.
Right.
We're 2 different size guys as well. So I think we can get.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Well,
You'd be
I
happy
mean-
to know I'm down 15 pounds.
Well, congratulations. I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to stop you, but I mean,
I bet I'm
you're-
20 after that Taco Bell run Saturday night. Good Lord.
Oh man, oh man.
Yeah, moving on. Sorry.
So, but you know, we want to be able to give some feedback on this machine. We want to score it in these different areas, give feedback, and then ultimately, as the listeners out there, it's like, hey, if this is your style that you might like, hey, get with Nick. He can set you up, and so on and so forth, so that you can figure out really what it takes to have a machine like this. Because every one of these machines that we have ridden to this point are top of the line.
oh yeah, and it's I feel bad, you know, when we go and do stuff, because it's like this setup clearly works for this ride. You know, whoever's like, this is working for him. It's just it may not necessarily work for my riding style, and so and we'll kind of get into it here with Ryan's. I mean, I think he won every race he was in, didn't he?
Yeah. He beat me at both
Yeah,
both days. Got beat
Yeah.
by a 16-year-old kid,
Yeah.
but
Oh, it's
Hey,
humbling. It's
hey,
great.
it
you know,
is. He's a good rider.
I was gonna say the guy, nothing taken away from him. He's an awesome rider.
Yeah.
And an awesome dude, I think. So.
Yeah. So
I did put on some good shows out there
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. You want Landon to kind of lead our questions here?
Landon's the leader.
Do you need my
Okay.
glasses? I printed off the thing for Landon. It is the smallest font I've ever seen in my life.
2020 vision, man.
Wow, jerk.
All right. So first off, going over this Kisner machine is the appearance. So first look at it, graphics, everything like that. What are we thinking? Who's going first?
I'll go first. So in the past, they've done red frames, red A-arms, and I know Ryder's 300EX had black plastic, but then their 350s had white plastic. So it's kind of white on top, the red in the middle, and the black on the bottom. Holy smokes, this is exactly what my four-wheeler looks like right now. I'm like, why do I like this so much? Well, if you go look at some of my pictures of my cross-country, it's the same thing. So maybe Ryan and Ryder inspired mine. I don't know. I just realized that. But, man, it looks great. The graphics, I've got it in my list here of who does their graphics. 75 Design. Yeah, it does their graphic. It's like a flat color. It's not shiny. Like, and I think it's cool.
You
I
like that?
like it. Yeah.
I thought it looked good.
So
too.
appearance from me, solid 95, man.
Sweet.
It's, you know,
95.
I'm
That's
here
high.
mainly because if I walk in my shop right now,
It looks the same.
I'm looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I agree.
appearance.
I mean, I gave it exactly the same score, 95. I was
Okay.
like, it's clean. All of it looks good. No,
It's not gaudy.
no,
flows together.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
Like it's like that's a clean looking machine. That's a clean build. It looks good.
Black-
95.
Yeah,
I
black
mean,
bumpers, black wheels, you know, I mean, it looks good. Now, Ryan's this year is not the red frame.
No, I
Ryder's
think it's a
is-
black frame.
Yeah, it's like a black. It's got some sparkle in it, you know, but still, I mean, it looks awesome. So it's more black and white, and that's what I think Ryan's gear is more black and white. But it's still, I mean, it's still cool. There's some red pieces to it, a little bit here and there. But yeah, 95.
Yep.
I like it. Clean,
Agreed.
cool. I mean, it's, you know, it's one of those I wasn't just like, that's it. You know, I mean, it's a good looking machine. No,
yeah,
no
I
complaints
agree.
on me. Yeah,
95 on appearance
Yep.
across the board.
across the board.
All right. So we are moving on to chassis. So handling.
You go first this one, bro.
Yeah. So
Element 44 A arms, correct?
Element 44 A arms. That is
And
correct.
custom axis shocks.
Yep.
Mica.
Yep, does work with Micah.
Good stuff there.
Yep.
I gave this machine a 90 on the chassis.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the front end, felt the front end was very planted. Where I struggled a little bit was with the rear end of this machine. Like at points, I could get it to slide and pitch, and at other times, like it didn't want to go anywhere. Like it just wanted to just stay stuck to the ground, which I mean is a good thing. You want it to be planted, right? But I struggled really with the consistency of the chassis. The machine felt pretty firmly planted to the ground, like it wasn't rolling all over the place. The front end was nice and solid, but the rear end inconsistencies really. I had trouble putting in consistent laps because I didn't know what to predict going in the corner. Like, I can back this into that berm. I don't know if it's going to back in or not, or I'm just going to have to drive it.
Just not a predictable feel through
and
the
what's
rear
crazy
end of the bike.
And what's crazy is like just as we're talking about this and watching Ryan, and this is so crazy, is it looks like Ryan's is effortlessly.
Oh yeah, he'll put it anywhere.
Yeah, and there was one berm and he had a big lead, and I think he was just you get out front, you just you do goofy things. And
he checked out on me.
Yeah, he was just riding. Yeah, blew Landon's doors off. No, it was a different race.
Man.
But he was kind of riding high in some of the berms, and I was like, dude, he's just straight up like backing that thing in there. That's funny that you say, but two different riding styles.
Yep.
Sorry, you go. Are you done?
No, I'm done. That's
Okay.
pretty much what I had to say about the chassis.
Yeah, 90 for me too. Now, granted, I'm a little bit heavier. You and Ryan are pretty close in weight. I'm obviously a little bit heavier because I'm more of a man.
You are a man.
That's right.
I agree.
Although, and for me,
did you feel like a man when I passed you?
No, I did not. I felt like a chump. My arms were hard as this table, man. It was bad. Anyways, back on topic here. I couldn't believe how stuck to the ground the machine was. And even Nick said, "Oh man, should have put a little more across." And I said, "No, don't change anything. Leave it just like Ryan. That's how we've done all these. We want to be fair. Like, don't set it up for me. Set it up how you would for Ryan, and then we'll go ride it." And I could not believe how stuck to the ground it was. That it was hard to kind of like manipulate it. Like, hey, once it got going in a direction, that's where it went. Now, if you hit your marks every time, it's easy, but I guess I'm not that talented. And so for me, I kept getting frustrated because I was like, I need this thing to break loose or be a little bit looser. And it was glued. Now, granted, we got to ride a pretty awesome track. I mean, it was at night, the moisture was coming up, the traction was there. And so maybe that was it. But yeah, I'm a 90 as well. So like that's the next question. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Go ahead, Landon.
This is my job.
Yes, I'm trying not to take Landon's job.
All right, next we have braking. So the Galfer brakes.
Yeah, Galfer, I think he's got the brake rotor, still running all factory master cylinders and stuff like that. But I mean, it didn't just like blow me away. The sad part is I've had the opportunity to ride unbelievable braking, and it set the bar even on my own personal stuff. And you may agree too that it's like, dang, I wish I could have that, So for me, braking, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. So I'm just thinking right in the middle, like good old 85. Like I never got in trouble in school. If I had an 85, if I got an A, it was like, well, good job, Daniel. The Galfer definitely had a little more grab to it than like the factory stuff. Just because Galfer's really good stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what? Yeah, I'll stay with an 85. Like it didn't wow me. It wasn't bad. It was good. It did what I needed it to do. So
I gave it an 88. I put reliable, responsive braking. I felt like when I wanted brakes, they were there.
Yep.
I mean, again, that scale is kind of skewed a little bit with the Behringer braking system, but the brakes were good. I mean, I felt like I could stop when I want to. Mm-hmm. Going back to chassis, you said you just couldn't manipulate it much.
Yeah.
Stuck. I was like, that's a great description of exactly what I felt as well.
Yeah.
It was just kind of stuck to the ground, and you couldn't manipulate it when I'm wanting to like back it in there a little bit,
And that's just Ryan's not a loose ride. Like he's not loose. Like he rides very controlled.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just a little loose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You are clearly like that's the name of the game for you.
Loose program.
Loose program.
Yeah, Daniel's loose program. And I'm loose program 2.0, but as far as the riding style, yes, loose.
Loosey goosey.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, throttle / motor. So how was the power plant on this KTM 450?
I will start. The most unbelievably tame 450 I've ever rode in my life. Like, I could not believe how smooth the power. There was no hit. There was no, like, there was times it was like I felt like I needed more, but then I'm like, oh, I need some more, and I'm ready to start braking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the most, like, it didn't rip my arms off. Like, I was getting, we'll get to another one that I felt like I got way more pumped up on, but this was like so manageable.
Absolutely.
Like, unbelievably manageable, that at times I thought, man, I've got to be riding slow because there's not like this, like, I want to make the motor sounds, but there wasn't like a hit or like a power band you needed to stay in.
Yeah.
It was so consistent all the way through that at first I got annoyed. Like, I was like, come on, like, Nick, turn it up, man.
Yep.
But the more that I've thought about it, I'm like, maybe the reason Nick has done that with the tune and Danny and the throttle body is to make it controllable for Ryan and Ryder. And I'm like, because it's working, they're doing great.
Absolutely.
But just smooth, tame power. And I was like, huh, okay.
You know, as you were talking, I was thinking about a lot of these tracks in the Midwest are really slick. They become very dry slick. So what do you want your machine to be? To be stuck and to not be like erratic when you hit the throttle, right? You want it to be smooth. So I think he has built the ideal machine for most of these Midwest. We were riding, that track had moisture in it. It was a little more hooked up than we typically ride.
Yep.
So I think he's done a perfect design in that sense. Like with the throttle response, just like you said, being the motor just being so mild, it minimizes your mistakes. It really does, because you're not having to fight the engine and worry about, oh, am I rolling the throttle? Do I have to roll the throttle? Am I busting the tires loose? Because you didn't have to worry about that. I mean, it was at times, you know, you were going forward, but it didn't matter if you were just kind of like just mashing down on the throttle. It was smooth. I gave it an 86. Now, you know, we're kind of judging throttle too. The thumb throttle on it, I'll be honest.
I told it, he walked in and he
like,
looked at me and he goes, you can be honest. I said, that thumb throttle sucks.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't know how. What
he was like, of all the things. And I said, Ryan, do you just have big, like, do you have like a big thumb? Like, are your hands weirdly? And like, we had the same size hands. And I was like, that is so weird. Like, was it a factory Yamaha?
I thought it looked like a Yamaha, but I like, even though it was big in there, it's like I couldn't find it at times when I wanted it. So it's weird. Like the throw of it was really weird.
This is not a knock. I didn't, and he just laughed. He said, okay.
Yeah, he's like,
it's like, well, I'm not changing.
Yeah, I'm not changing that.
No, don't. Ryan loves it, so that's fine. It's just like, I was like,
that's not the feedback we're looking for. You know, like,
I was like, this is awful.
But you think your points of contact, that to me is the most important thing. How do my feet feel on these pegs? How do my hands feel on the handlebar? My points of contact, that's the immediate thing that can determine the comfort and stuff like that for me. I know I'm kind of going away from the throttle motor a little bit. But
that kind of goes back to chassis, because they've got the new style factory 43. I know.
Yeah.
Factory 43, Element 44, Colt 45. To me, because you even noticed this, you said the way the Nerf bars and what he said, you were like, I feel like the pegs are lowered. And granted, now I'm not a whole lot taller than you, Mitch, but I am a little bit. Now I was comfortable on it.
Okay.
You know, but that's what you were like. I feel like you said I feel like the pegs are too low.
Yes.
Like, I wish the pegs were higher, and I'm like, that's like, I didn't even notice that. Like, it felt fine.
It
like
was one of the first things that I gave feedback on.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys know my opinion. Yeah. Even though he is a friend and a sponsor of the show, RJR is second to none. I mean, those foot pegs are in the right place. They feel so good. So anytime I get on anything else, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I want my RJR pegs.
Again, not like Factory 43.
They are good. That is
fantastic stuff.
personal preference.
Yep.
You know, when I say that, it's personal preference, but
Right.
it is the number one thing that I am a fan of those pegs, and I make it known.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing about y'all jumping on different bikes is, you know, that's his preference, and then you have yours. So, you know, and that's the cool part of it is everybody's different.
Yeah, yeah, and it is kind of hard because like there's times I feel like I'm I'm judging these things like super harshly, and it's like, I don't know, I need to take the personal preference. Like, how would this be across the board? Or for like a rider like Ryan, like they're gonna love it. They're gonna love all these things, you know.
Right.
So.
I mean, when we're scoring these things, we're really getting down to the nitty gritty, if you will. We're nitpicking.
Yeah.
Understand that all of these machines that we're riding are top of the line pro builds. So we can't just say, oh, it's 100, it's 100, it's 100, because there's always room for improvement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are trying to give real, honest feedback of where there is room for improvement. But there again, this machine performs on the track, all over the place. It performs, and it performs well. But we're just scoring it the way we see it.
Yeah. So at first, just riding it, I was like, man, I didn't like the power. Like I didn't like it at all. But once I like sat and thought about it for a little bit, and I'm thinking, you know, if you're able, which Nick has some super awesome stuff on there, and it's so cool what they're able to do and look at and do the data feedback. I'm like, no, that's perfect. So I gave it a 90.
Okay.
And the reason is because you nailed it. So many of the tracks we go to, you race in the middle of the day. The thing is slick as snot. And if it's got a hard hit in there, all you're doing is breaking traction. So if you can make that power manageable and tame for a young up-and-comer guy, Ryan has incredible skills, but, you know, I think he wants to learn as much as he can, like anybody else, right? And I think that one of the way that Nick has been able, and Danny and all the guys around the motor have been able to make it so successful for Ryan, is the power's manageable. And so I just, you know, now that I've thought about it and I've kind of rolled some things around in my head, because there's tons of space up there to do that, I'm like, you know what, I'm good with that. So,
okay,
yeah,
cool,
90,
some good stuff.
Your score?
Yeah, I put it as 86 on the motor and throttle. The throttle kind of scored it down for me a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah,
Didn't like the Yamaha throttle.
I don't know if it was Yamaha. Like, I've ridden a couple of Yamaha, and
it looked similar, but it didn't look exact.
Like, I don't know what the thumb part actually is called. The thumb part.
Yeah.
Anybody? No,
I don't know.
We've got a professional and a lifelonger here. I thought y'all could help me out.
The
here.
part of the thumb throttle,
not the housing,
the part that you push,
the parts that you push,
the thumb piece.
Yeah, the thumb piece.
Oh, okay, that's super.
I've just always called that the throttle. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. But it had, like, it wasn't flat. It had like it was rounded. I said, I don't like this. And he just laughed. And he's like, okay, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Which I don't blame him, but.
We don't have to dwell on that anymore.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry.
So overall, from you two guys, what's your overall rating?
My overall rating
RY
is
Motorsports?
a 90. I give this thing a 90 because it is reliable. It's consistent. I mean, I said it was unpredictable in the chassis, but then the more that we sat here and talked about it, I thought this is really an easy machine to ride. Anyone, I feel, could get on this and ride well because it was planted. It was smooth. 90.
90, same.
90-90.
90-90.
90-90.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Now, again, just to refresh everyone's memory from last year, you can't just add all these up and then divide it out. Actually, each one of these has a different weight. I mean, we wouldn't want appearance to be equal weight of a chassis, right? I mean, like, appearance is cool and it's a thing, but it doesn't have as heavy a weight. Obviously, the overall has a heavier weight, but each one of these areas is weighted a little bit different, with obviously the appearance having the lowest weight in all of it to factor up the overall. So, you know, we give it an overall score, but we're not actually sharing the overall score until the end of the season as we recap all these machines. So that's where we're at. The RY Motorsports TRX KTM 450. That was the Builders Brawl number 1. You boys ready to move on to the number 2 machine?
Let's get after it.
You ready for it?
Yeah, let's go.
Number 2 machine wasn't on the schedule, just happened and called an audible and made it happen. We got to ride Kyle Scott's number 417, Scott Racing, Canebrake Racing, TRX CRF hybrid. By the way, on the live stream, Garrett commented, he goes, Daniel, what's a hybrid? And I didn't see it till, yesterday. And so hybrid is there's a different motor in the chassis than came from the factory.
That's correct.
There you go.
Like a hybrid, like they did on Jurassic Park.
Ooh.
Yeah, they made that hybrid thing. Yep, they did. Not from the norm, but
Never seen it.
It's a blend of things. It's hybrid.
It's a blend. TRX CRF hybrid. It is a 2017 CRF power plant, Element 44 custom axis suspension. The sponsors of this mad machine are Scott Racing, and he put in parentheses, it's mainly just Dodd. Just Dodd.
Which what a good guy. Love Dodd.
Yes. Jet Labs throttle body and a Kenny Bullington Canebrake tuned CRF, which I'm a CRF fan.
I'm a CRF fan as well. I like my KTM. I do, but definitely like a CRF as well.
Yep. I'll go first. Appearance. It was super cool. Oh,
are we going to let our man lead the way? You
sitting over here for nothing.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean he's led to some good conversation here. So Landon.
So the Scott Racing appearance. And personally, I think the thing looks pretty sweet. I know I'm not rating it, but I think it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's not the custom, red, black, white. I mean, it does have some, I would say, pizzazz.
It's got a little splash.
A little splash.
Splash here and there.
Yep.
What'd you score the appearance?
I scored the appearance at a 90.
Well, guess what? I scored it at a 90 as well.
So again, just so everybody knows, Mitch and I do not talk about this. He rides, I ride, we make notes on our phone, and then we literally sit down here. Landon asks the questions, we talk about it.
That's right.
So it's not like we got in the truck, we're like, okay, who we want to win? Like we don't talk about it.
Sometimes I get asked the questions. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. But a 90 on appearance. It's funny, like when we do have the same scores, because we literally were like, no, go type it in.
Yeah, and I rode in the truck back with y'all, and there was nothing said about any of the bikes that y'all rode.
There were some daggum stinky feet though.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Ryder took his shoes off in my truck and we rolled the windows down. I had to open a new air freshener, and we literally held our breath, and us three passed the air freshener around and just jammed it up our nostrils.
Wow. That was
the
stout.
worst smell on planet Earth.
You need to tell Haley to get something to fix them
fire.
Oh, she is always on him. She is like, Ryder,
burn
you clean
the
up.
shoes.
Ryder, you put deodorant on. Ryder, you have to care about how you smell. I don't think you showered all weekend. But you know what?
There's someone else in our group that also does this that we're also very confused about. But anyways, it wasn't anybody here. I'm just moving on.
I showered. Yeah, all right. We'll move on. So the appearance, we both gave it a 90.
Yeah,
no
and we'll throw some pictures up online. You can go look up Kyle Scott. Go look up Ryan, Nick, the kids. You can go look at their social media and see their builds. They're all over it, man. Yep. Kyle's is super cool. It's got a lot of yellow and orange in it. I mean, it's really cool. Kind of
yellow, orange, blue, maybe.
I think there's a blue on there. Yeah. Yeah,
a little bit of blue. His brother Elijah is has tons of blue.
Yeah, blue and white.
Wait, I think they both have blue frames.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So
I think that's right. Yeah.
So multicolored.
It's got
looks
cool though.
It
75 Design does their graphics too. I mean, it looks good. It's a good looking machine.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'd ride it, and I did.
Yes, you did. CJ wrote it.
CJ wrote it.
Good. So.
Yeah.
CJ made it look very good.
Well, that's because I showed him how. So he said, "Hey man, thanks for showing me how to go around the track." On the hey buddy, anytime, anytime. And he's like, "I'm kidding." I'm like, "No, you're not." Like, no, for real, I am. And I was like, "Okay, whatever."
All right, so moving on, chassis. Also another Element 44.
Element 44 with the custom axis as well.
Yeah, so Dodd did tell me that it's just funny we say this, but Nick was a pretty big part in helping him get this build put together.
Okay,
so a lot.
Makes sense.
So some of the people you're going to hear from Nick stuff are also part of this one too. So Element 44, Axis, Jet Labs. Danny Walton's a Tennessee guy, so
he was there.
Got to see him.
Got to meet him. Yep. So it's pretty cool. I gave the chassis a 90. So I felt some inconsistencies in it. Like at times I felt like the front end was very planted, and sometimes it wanted to move all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put some inconsistencies on that. And I think about it, my score really needs to be in combination with the throttle and motor, because as opposed to Ryan's, which was very tame, this motor, when it came on, it hit. It pulled your butt right back in the seat, and you better be hanging
threw the
on.
kitchen sink at this motor.
He did. I mean, when that motor hit, you felt it. And so I think that kind of disrupted a little bit of the chassis for me. I thought it had very good forward traction, but it was like kind of the opposite of Ryan's machine. Ryan's machine, I felt the front end was very consistent, but the rear end was a little bit inconsistent. This one was just right backwards, like the rear end and what it would do, but it almost felt like it would make the front end inconsistent. Right. So that's where I got a 90 on that. Again, a good handle, but maybe it's a factor of the motor package that's under it that disrupted the chassis for me a little bit.
Yeah, I agree there. And even after we got done, we were standing there talking to Kyle a little bit, and he said he had an accident, and so he's hurt his foot, so he's not able to ride. And he said, man, he said, I wanted y'all just to ride. It was a new motor, so we were kind of, doing a little bit of break-in for him too. But he said, I think I should have done this. So he said, man, I should have done this beforehand, but I didn't think about it, yada, yada, yada. But I was kind of in the same boat, man. I guess we'll get to the throttle motor and stuff too. But as far as the chassis, I know in the woods, the first thing that we did on the newer model TRXs was throw the 06 hubs and spindles in the closest garbage can. Immediately. Like that was, if you had an 06 and up, you found 0405 hubs and spindles. And what is insane to me is I've now had the opportunity to ride 5 different Element 44 front ends, Brian Robinson. And that's what he says, hey man, run the 06 hubs and spindles. They all handle like really good. Yeah. And I'm like, what is the magic in this Element 44? And is it in the like I don't think I can say this, to everyone around the world, but I just want to sit and visit with Brian and be like, of the other, like, why did you take what we consider to be garbage and all your machines handle well?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Good point.
Yeah, and so I gave it a 92, man. It was super.
A 92 or a 90 as well? A 90 as well.
Pause. Also,
okay, got it. I just record your score here.
Yeah, he's got. I didn't look at the subframe. I should have asked. The stock subframe.
Stock subframe.
Stock subframe. Okay.
Not lowered.
Not lowered. It just felt good. Like it felt comfortable to sit on, and that's right because I did get on. I said, "You don't have a cut subframe," and he said, "No." He was kind of like, "Why would I do that?" And I said, "Why wouldn't you do that?" But it felt super comfortable to sit on. I think. One of the reasons I liked it was he had kind of a taller stem but a flatter bar, if that makes sense, handlebar, like in the cockpit area. Yeah. And it felt comfortable to sit on. I know riding, it did what I wanted to do. It was way more loose than Nick's, which I liked. But it's one of those things that again, if you had the time, and Kyle even said, "Man, I wish we had time to do more." But yeah, I gave it a 90.
Cool.
So I'll jump as you pound the water there. I'll move over to break in again. These guys are doing the oh boy.
There he goes again.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing? We can't maintain the same.
So sorry.
And let's try again.
I will ask about the braking.
That's right. He will ask, and he will settle any disputes that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, after you try to take my job again, what do we think about the braking?
I'll go first.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. So Kyle, I don't know if but the front brake was super easy to grab, and I liked that. But again, it's all factory stuff. It's good if you have factory stuff. It's fine. You're going to be able to race. You're going to be able to go fast. You're going to be
reliable. It's consistent. It's good.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's not exceptional. It wasn't terrible. It was just right 85. Good. Okay. Good stuff. Hey, I'll give Kyle an 86 because I did tell him because I have little bitty fingers and the front brake was kind of bled back a little bit. So
I remember you saying
it was
that,
right there.
Yeah, I'll give him a little nudge. Okay, 86.
I'm sticking at 88. That's exactly what I scored Kisner's at. I thought their braking was almost exactly the same, but like you, the lever was a little bit closer, but the braking was good. I mean, it was there when you wanted it.
Yep.
Nothing. It wasn't next level, but it was great.
Yep.
So for sure, that's
All right.
braking for me.
Moving on. We kind of already talked about the motor, just touched on it just a little bit. What do we think about the motor, throttle package, the whole thing?
So I gave this a 91. All right. So I did give it a 91. It made me feel alive. Yes. I mean, it did. Like you hit that throttle and it's like, you better hang your butt on.
Oh,
like,
so you knew something was there.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
Yeah.
Did you know something was there? Like, yeah, dig your feet in, something there. You think about hitting the throttle and it was like, brah. And then it took me back. I really didn't even talk to him beforehand. I knew it had CRF in it, but I didn't ask him year or anything like that.
Yep.
And then it's like, it's a 17. I'm like, oh, exactly. I've been on this stuff before. And it was really like, if the other one was not erratic, this motor was erratic. Like you think about hitting the throttle and it's just just like, I mean, just rip you back. Now, what was cool, I mean, again, the track had a little bit of moisture, so it was kind of hooked up. So I felt there was good forward traction there, but you better be hanging on because you had there was some ponies in that thing for sure.
And I want to say that Kyle, I could be way wrong, but I want to say that Kyle told me it was a 17 lower end with a 22 top end on, and I, like I said, could be way wrong.
No, I think
but
you're
I
right.
think that is what he said.
Yep, I think you're right.
I don't remember. I remember looking, but I can't remember. I need to start taking more pictures. I'm so sorry. But I mean, you can look at the exhaust port, the head pipe, and know because the newer ones have the oval and it's right in the center, whereas the not 21 and down is on the side.
Yeah, it's turned a little bit.
Yeah. Me?
Yeah, it's you.
I echo all the same things. Like there, it's just funny thinking like with Nick's KTM. I'm like, come on, like go. I bet my lap times were probably faster on, and I didn't look and see, but I would love to know because man, that thing when you mash the throttle, that sucker would eat your lunch if you weren't careful. I mean, Kenny builds a sick motor. I mean, it would. I mean, if I'm glad I have the mild skill that I do have, which isn't a lot, because I'm like, dude, if the wrong person got on this, they would wet themselves.
Yes.
Like it will go.
Yeah.
Like it. Oh boy, it was
for
awesome.
sure it would go.
So yeah, but I mean, like I never had to wonder, like, is this thing going? Like, cause it'll let you know, man.
You thought you had that brief second of think, oh, it's time to like you set up in a corner and I'm ready to get in throttle. Boom, it's going.
Yeah.
You think it is going.
Yeah, and I think like with Nick's, the power was so tame and smooth all the way through, like the power curve. This thing like was mid to top end.
Yeah,
like just which most of the guys in flat, like that's where you ride them. That's where they need to be.
And you can also go from Kyle's more of a East Coast guy and Nick's more of a West Coast guy, Midwest guy, and slick track versus a more of a hooked up track,
True.
And you ride those different. And
this is very, very true.
God, that's why we let him ask all the questions.
That's right.
Not all of them,
And
but
settle it in the middle. While we're supposed to be letting him. And just remind yourself, Super D.
I know.
Who's asking the questions? Very good point.
Who's the
I agree.
narrator?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
So
great job.
Yeah, so for me, I'm gonna go kind of again, great power, loved it, but it did kind of scare me a little bit. It was so good, and this isn't a knock. Like it was great. Like it would go. I put it at an 85. Like it was the power was there, but if you weren't ready, that thing would. Woo!
Yeah, Roy was right.
Yeah,
for being sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so overall on the Scott Racing, Kyle Scott. TRX.
Canebrake, Dodd
CRF.
Scott, Jamie Scott's pocketbook.
That's right.
no.
So my score is a 91. I gave it a 91. I really felt alive when I rode that machine just because it wanted to rip my pants off.
Good thing you had that Sofa brand MX gear on. Make sure to use our code RTRP
I was locked in.
at checkout to save.
That's right, RTRP. The Sofa brand pants had me locked in for sure. Had a good time on it. I mean, I felt pretty comfortable on the machine. Stem was a little high for me, but overall had a nice bar package that I liked. Had a good throttle, and the motor was just like, yeah, baby. I don't think I could put in consistent laps on it, but it was fun.
Yeah, one of the things I gave it a 90 as well. No, you said 91.
He said 91.
I said 90. Okay. One of the things I did like was the 22 and down does not have 22, 21 down. I think it's 22 and down. Whatever model does 21 and down does not have the hydraulic clutch, the factory hydraulic clutch.
Okay.
But Dodd had added the
Magara.
Yeah,
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
Magara.
it's the Magura.
Yep.
Magura or something.
Had added.
None of us have an English major. I mean,
I have
we
a
did.
third grade reading level, man.
Well, okay. I have a master's degree, but they let me through English anyway.
whoa.
My grandma helped me in the English class. So,
So I mean, yeah, like I love the controls, all that. That hydraulic clutch is where it's at. If you don't have one, get one. I don't know what these guys in Pro Supercross are like. No, man, you gotta get rid of the hydraulic clutch. I could feel it anytime I wanted it, but maybe
I agree.
Maybe that's because I don't have good skill. And like,
I like hydraulic.
I'm a fan.
Sure.
I bet I clutched it 15. It's probably why my arms are pumped up. I clutched it so much going around the track and drag it a little bit. That
As
was
you were thinking about hitting the throttle, you had to drag the clutch so that it didn't just try to rip you off the back.
And that was one thing that's cool about it is coming out of some of those corners, you could slip that clutch coming out just a little bit and help keep the traction. It was good. And like I said, I have little hands. I'm a wuss, so hydraulic makes it all better. Next question.
We're out of questions.
We're out of questions.
Scott Racing.
That
moves us out of number 2 to the third Builders Brawl. We went from doing one a weekend to we were on 3 machines. Actually, we're on 4 this weekend because I rode my machine as well.
You did get to ride 5. You got to ride Elijah's too.
I rode Elijah's too. I was on 5 machines.
I rode 4 machines. I didn't get to ride Elijah's.
It's a pretty awesome weekend.
It was really awesome weekend. That's what Brian was like, Builders Brawl. Yeah, it just seems like somebody really wants to ride. And I said, you're saying?
So
what's your point?
What's your point?
Our man Jeff Brown is a good friend, and Landon's riding his machine the last couple of races. He came up to me and he shook my hand. This has been I guess it was at Paducah. No, it was last year sometime. Anyway, he just came up and shook my hand, and I said, yeah. And he goes, you are something else. And I said, I like to think so. And he said, you have created something to where you just show up. You just show up. Nobody knows you're coming. You just show up and you get to ride the best of the best machines. You talk about it and then you go home. And I said, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't have that kind of money, but I love to brag on other people's stuff. And if they're like, hey, you want to ride it? I'm like, well, no. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I will.
Yes.
That's what Dodd or Kyle was like, hey, man, would y'all want to spin a few laps? I'm like, no. Yeah, actually, we would. That'd be great.
There was no hesitation in my voice.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to ride that? Yes.
Yeah. He wanted us to ride it
right now or
Saturday morning. And I was like, ooh, how about we do it tonight? That way we've got a consistent track from Nick's to this one to our third machine.
Absolutely. That good moisture in the track. That made me excited for sure.
Yes. We got to ride the Bullet quad. This was our winning quad from last year. So one of the things we wanted to do in the Builders Brawl was whoever won it would get the opportunity to defend.
Yes.
So we invited them back. They were super gracious to give us an opportunity to race it. And so this is
or ride it. I mean, whichever way you want to look at it.
Did I say race? Yeah,
you said race.
I'm sorry.
We might have the Ghost Rider out there, from the previous ones. You know how you used to do on the video games?
MX versus ATV.
Yeah, you would race.
Yeah.
So we're Ghost Riding.
But we don't. So let's move on. Anyway, so it is a TRX chassis. Man, flat track. There are some Yamahas out there, but TRX has dominated for a long time. TRX chassis. This is a Husky 450, and so kind of the graphics and stuff looks very Husky-ish. But this is Bullet. This is a collab between RJR and ATM, and they together, these two guys and their companies and their businesses and their shenanigans have come together to form Bullet. And so that's what this is, a Bullet machine. They've got some other ones coming down the line. Connor Cleveland rides a Bullet machine.
The Blue Toad.
The hand-me-down, my CRF, that's a Bullet machine. These guys, their hands have been all over it because I have no idea what I'm doing. But this is a Walsh Custom Axis build, Junkyards Motors. Kind Kaiser Wheels, big part of their program. Baldwin, Jaime from PEP for Performance Tuning, Crankworks, ODI, SSI Decals, and JSR Moto Design are the guys that they wanted to shout out. Again, Kevin Allen, Cleveland, Rylan Johnson.
All right. So for the Bullet Quad, as it is named.
It is named, and it's so timeout. At Paducah, I was talking to Eric Ashcraft, who came down in the live stream and was talking about stuff, and we were watching something. He goes, "What is that?" And I said, "Oh, that's the bike that won our Builders Brawl last year." He goes, "That's the Bullet Quad?"
Yeah, that's right.
And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Dude, you got to I got to see this thing." And I was like, "Oh." Like he walked over there and was just drooling all over. He's like, "Oh, it's even better in person." And of course, Kevin Allen's head is just swelling like a balloon getting filled up. And I'm like, "Oh, Eric." And he's like, "Dude, that's Eric Ashcraft. That's Eric Ashcraft right there, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, Kevin Allen, this is my friend Eric." And he's like, "No, he's like here." And I freaked out when I saw him, and I gave him a hug. I hope he's okay with that. And I said, "Yeah, Eric's a good guy. He's fine with it."
Living legend, Eric Ashcraft.
Living legend. Yeah. So anyways, he was all about it too. But yes.
That's really cool.
Bullet Quad.
The really cool.
All right, so the appearance of the Bullet Quad, what's your scores?
I'll hit it first. I'm giving it a 94.
95.
Okay.
Sick. I mean, it's one off the anodized blue wheels. I mean, it's just it
awesome
stands out.
It is.
The SSI chrome and the graphic. You know, I loved the flat on Kisner stuff, the RY Motorsports machine, but that chrome mirror, so
it
cool.
is good. I really like the fact that 94 for me is the fact that they followed that color scheme. You know, we kind of covered it last time. It's like that's unique. That's cool. You know, definitely wouldn't be like the color choices that I would go with naturally. Like I'm kind of a 2-color kind of person. Said that before, but I mean it works. Like it is unique. It's
yellow, cool. Cool blue. I mean it is.
You've never seen anything like it.
That's
for
right.
Sure, you know, I mean,
it's definitely one of those machines when you see it rolling through the pitch, you're like, "Oh, yep, there it is."
Yeah.
You know, and the blue wheels are just they're so cool, man. I mean, it's just. It's cool. It's cool.
It is nice for sure.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So,
yeah, it's cool.
Chassis on this quad, it's
Walsh axis.
Walsh axis.
Yep.
Yep. So I gave the chassis a 93 is what I did. Felt a little bit of a spongy front end. Definitely some changes from last time I was on the machine. It took me a couple laps to kind of get the groove going on it. Could tell that there was some changes that had happened with the front end. And so the spongy feel, the chassis was predictable, had some nice traction, would steer well, but just a little bit of kind of the front end wanting to roll and lose the front end a little bit. So I'm giving it a 93.
So saying that it's changed from last time, this quad's being rode by Brody Poulin now. Whenever y'all first rode it, it wasn't being rode by anybody.
Yeah.
So now it does have some personal preference to it.
Absolutely.
And so just kind of feel the context here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's a very good point. So it's been raced by a guy who's new to the TT racing world, who is flying, mind you. It's crazy. Like
doing awesome.
Every time he hits the track, like he's just looking better and better and better. Dude was rolling. For sure. But it has been ridden. It's been raced. Right. It's been adjusted for him as a rider. And, you can kind of think back a little bit. Rylan had a little bit of upper hand, if you will. He knew kind of what I like. So he had that set up specifically for me to get me to score it high, right?
Right.
So now it's not
he kind of baited you in on that one.
He did bait me in on that. He had
that jerk.
He kind of cheated a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. For me, I put it at a 95, man. Brody, I think there may be like 5 or 10 pounds difference. So when suspension stuff, not a lot, not that you're going to notice. And so I like the way the chassis is set up, the cockpit, for me, I liked the suspension. It felt real good. I bet for you, like I'm just thinking from where it was when we rode it last time to now, I guarantee you they've gone up. I would almost put big money on it. Like they've had to go to a stiffer rear spring, and that's making the front end feel more squishy for you because it's not this is funny because the bikes we've rode so far, it's all been someone lighter than me.
Yeah.
And so now where I'm like, I kind of don't like it. And you're like, no, I do like it. Now we've kind of flip-flop.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, I thought it was great. Bring it on. You know, I was here for it. I loved it. It was awesome. So, yeah.
And maybe the front end seemed low, it seemed spongy to me. And, you know, I'm the kind of rider, like, I want to get my elbows up and I want to cram that front end where I want to go. And that front end would want to sit on the ground. And I was like, no.
Yeah. That's funny. Just compared because you did get to ride like your KTM this weekend. You know, and these two front ends are black and white, night and day difference.
Yeah,
you know, that's so funny. And really cool that you got to ride them back to back. Yeah, I love the cockpit. I know Rylan on the cross country stuff. Even this one. It's lowered subframe, the seat, all that stuff. Like so, it just fits good.
You know what else it has?
Your foot pegs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, pegs are stellar.
Yeah,
that's what that was like. Top of my notes. Like I put my feet on that. Oh yes, I am home. I'm home.
And one of the things too that even putting my cross country machine together, like. If you sat on the Bullet and sat on, they're probably going to feel almost exact, like just not suspension. I'm just talking about like the cockpit, like where you sit,
your contact
points.
Yeah,
yes,
sure. Very good feel.
No,
there.
I take that back. I've got a different seat because I had a cut seat on there, and I didn't like it so much in the woods. Okay. But I went with a little bit thicker foam.
Got it.
There you go. 95. Y'all don't care. Moving on.
All right. On to braking. What do we think about the braking on the Bullet Quad?
95. It's all sick. It's Behringer. It's
Behringer
the greatest.
Brakes,
and I feel bad because the other their machines are great too, but this is just next level. And so one of the things that Bullet, you know, the collab between these two knuckleheads, is they're doing a little on the rear master cylinder. The rear caliper. So they've got a little something up their sleeve. And if you want to know, you can contact them by using our code at either one of their shops. When you call, go, oh, hey, I need the remain in the race code. And they will save you some money. I'm sure. I don't know. Call and see.
And they might tell you, they might not. I don't know.
But I know it's a Behringer across the front end, and then they've got a little trick up their sleeve for that rear end. And it is the best.
The bee's knees.
It is.
So I gave it a 93.
Oh wow!
The front brakes, awesome. The rear brake wasn't doing it for me.
What?
No, was not doing it for me. I mean, I still gave it a 93.
Get out.
And I know what it was. The rear brake pedal was so big and high. I was like, dude, I'm just riding this rear brake, you know?
That's funny.
But you know, it was actually going back. It was missing that little collar. That's why it had that movement. That's why I kind of scored it down a little bit.
We've got to find this piece. That's funny.
Yeah. So when I was hitting the rear brake, you know, it had that little bit of a give to it, and then. But I mean, Brody made the adjustment the next day. Actually, I adjusted it for him. I was like, "This has got to be come down a little bit." This rear brake, they had just adjusted it a little bit high, so a 93 for me. Great feel on the front brakes, but the rear brake, I think, just had that little play in it because of the collar missing. So,
all right. So, power plant and throttle of the Husky KTM.
Yeah,
the
air
Husky
quotes.
KTM.
Yeah, this Husky.
Gas. Yeah.
I'll go first. I'm gonna give it a 90.
Okay.
It's been rode. It's been, and even talking to Kevin Allen, and he's like, I think this is going to be what hurts us. And I said, dude, it's still a fuel injected bad mamma jamma. And he goes, this is what I'm worried about. But I gave it a 90, dude. It's smooth. It doesn't have a hard hit. The tune in it right now is really that mid throttle, which is where Brody likes to ride. He's a cross country guy. He's a mid throttle guy. So there were several times I intentionally would lug it like hard, like need to downshift bad out of a corner, and it struggled not struggled. That's the wrong word. It didn't, but it just didn't have the bottom end.
It had not just a slight, like not a miss, but it had a slight something that you could feel in the bottom.
And I think if when this comes out and they listen, they're gonna go, yeah, we know.
Yeah, and because I felt that same thing. I loved when you were riding it just right, man, pulling great. But there was just that little bit of of a, let's think if you're riding a carbureted machine and you're not just riding the right deal, how it kind of falls for just a second.
Blubber
There, you could just feel that. And again, we're nitpicking, right? I mean, there's a fuel injected machines.
So
They're
awesome.
super powerful. They run great. So, I mean, we are just riding all these machines and you're just analyzing every little single detail. And I'm like, ooh, I feel a little blip there. Like there's maybe that's way there's something a little bit on the rear end, on the bottom end that you're like, that needs to be adjusted out.
Again, if Kevin Allen was sitting right here, because this is mainly his machine, he would go, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't think this is when this comes out, he's going to be like, I can't believe. What's crazy is I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm so glad we got to ride Kyle's. This power plant is the via media, that's Latin for the middle ground between the two other machines.
It
is straight in the middle. Where Nick's, I was like, is this thing going to go? It was so tame and so manageable. But now I'm like, it's perfect. It's great.
Yep.
And then Nick's, I'm like, Kyle's, I'm like, whoo, that is a party under your rear end, that's for sure. This one is right in the middle. I gave it a 90. It's they're all great. They're all perfect. It's just rider preference. What do you like? What do you not like? And it's just, it's just what it is.
It's good. Good stuff.
Is what it is.
90 and
I gave it a 91.
91.
91.
I did indeed.
All right, so your overall on the bullet quad, what are we thinking?
My overall on the bullet quad fell at a 92. So good, solid deal. The only place that I was scoring it down a little bit was the little bit of spongy front end. It's not my preference, but still a great handle, right? That little bit of rear brake feel and the little bit of blip in the bottom end. Yep, but comfortable machine where I score it up. The freaking pegs are out of this world. I know I'm going to say that a bunch of times. The points of contact are great. The bike handled good. I got in a groove, and I bet of the three machines, I know this machine I was fastest on.
You think so? Well, we had to turn the lights off on the track because you just kept because our deal's, and you just kept going. And Dad walked up and goes, you're going to have to throw the checkers or something because he's just going to keep going.
I only went 5 laps.
No.
On that machine, I went more than 5.
Oh, yeah.
6?
Yeah, I think you.
It was
7?
like 10.
No.
I don't know if it's 10.
Yeah,
No.
let's call it a cool 9.
I'm going to tell you, at 10, I was about to die.
Yeah.
I know you're in better shape than I am, but
10 laps.
Yeah, 10 laps. I was like, okay, when's this going to be over?
Yeah.
Ryan's done checked out on me, so
Yeah.
let's just go ahead and call it right here.
Like
Pretty sure I
throw
know
the
what's going to
flag.
happen, yeah. I gave it a 95, man. It's, for me, and it's funny because the things that you're like, I didn't like that. I'm like, I thought it was, like, for me, it was good.
Those are the changes that you want.
But I think it's because you're riding a stiffer machine.
Yes.
Because Brody's more my weight, and whereas the last time you rode it, it might have been set up more for a guy your weight.
Yes, indeed.
So, 95.
I think you're 100% right. I figured out that I like.
I know I am.
Wow. Should I remind him of how far I left him in the dust?
It was so bad. So
No,
what?
Kyle did make the comment like that Daniel looked good on it. He was like, yeah, but Mitch looked really good on it. And I kind of brought that up, but I thought it was pretty comical.
What had happened was Kyle's like, hey, would y'all ride my machine? Yes. Let's build her raw tonight after everything's over. Great. You went out and rode it. Great. And then as I'm going, I'd already put in 40,
one lap.
40, 42 laps, so I'm pumped up. I had to pit for gas. I'd put in so many laps, and some cracker sneaks in behind me on Elijah's and passes me, and I'm like, dude, I've been out here for days riding this thing.
Yeah.
I've been riding this sneaky snake that's going to jump up and bite you if you're not careful. And then you just sneak in there and you're like, hey, blah.
Yeah. That is so not what happened.
That is exactly
what Dodd was like,
that's pretty
get
much
on Elijah's and ride it. And I'm like, oh, yes, of course I will. And he's like, hold on, Daniel. Like he's giving him warning ahead of time before he goes out there and runs. What he means is he circulated 42% of the track before I pulled out there is really what he means.
Daniel knows his truth.
Yeah. And
I might have made one lap, but
that
was it.
When you're coming around for the first,
and I didn't see, and then I heard you, and so then going through the first corner, I look and I was like, "Oh boy, here we go!" And then 2 turns later, it was gone. And I was like, "Well, this is the difference between a former pro and a washed-up nobody from nowhere." You know, I was like, "Bye." But here's the no, I can't. I was about to say, well, that's because Elijah's bike is set up for more of a guy your weight, but Kyle's bike was set up for a guy more of my weight. You win. Okay. You're better. You're greater.
Whoa.
I'm lesser.
It's not what I was trying to do.
The first will be last, and the last shall be first. I think that's what we're all about here, right?
You are right. You're right.
Yeah, I'll take my humble award.
You will. Right to the front, and I'll go to the back.
Yeah.
Dang it.
All right. Well, anything else on? Again, thank you to Nick. Thank you to Kevin Allen Ryland. Thank you to Dodd, Kyle, Elijah. Man, it's so cool that we get the opportunity to do this, and it's because there's great people in the industry that allow us to do it. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate it.
We really enjoyed it. For sure.
I read out the sponsors.
You did. Okay. Each time you introed it. We were a little stalled on the first, kind of letting you cue it up, and I wasn't ready. But, the first 3 installments of Builders Brawl 2024, that's a wrap, baby. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, tell you what, let's catch a break real quick, and then let's jump back in. We don't have a ton to recap from Black Ankle, but there was some cool things that went on. Let's talk about those real quick, and then we'll wrap this thing up because this is going to be an hour and a halfer podcast. So,
what did you expect with 3 Builders Brawl?
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean that's what the people are here for. So, tell you what, let's catch a break real quick, and then we will be right back. So, y'all don't go anywhere. We're back in just a second. All right. Let's jump back in here. So, round 1 of the NEAT series was a little over a week and a half ago there at Black Ankle. And man, if you get the opportunity to go to just an awesome facility, awesome track, awesome venue, North Carolina is sick. If Emily was like, hey, we get to move somewhere, where would you like to? I'd go North Carolina.
Yep.
North Carolina people are the best, and North Carolina's the best. So, North Carolina is where it's at. So, round 1 of Black Ankle, Miss Brandy Tulu and her group at BTR put together the 90 shootout. We got to interview Dylan, or not Dylan.
No.
Anthony Dorak, Aubrey Walker, and one Charlie Creech.
Yes, indeed.
And so it was cool to visit with them. Aubrey, they did a little bit different thing because of their age or some rule things in there.
Yep.
But man, it turned out to be, they were able to do that on Friday night. And the win for the 90 shootout went to Austin Moore. Second place, dude. I'm a big fan of Aubrey Walker. I am equally a fan of Kenley Reed.
Yes, you are.
The reason is, Landon, when we were there last year, I see this 007 machine just launching some of these, and I'm like, whoa, look at that. And it would like control, doing all the things right. And I'm like, who is this? And that's like, oh, that's Kenley Reed. And I'm like, I got to meet her. Like, this is she is so cool.
This is exactly the way he was. I promise you.
I would love that because I thought I was pretty fast on the little 90s and the jump down there at Bullet, man, skying that thing out until I flat landed and then never again, so
never jumped a 90 again.
Yeah.
And then Mason Turner got the final spot there on the podium. And so that was super cool that they got to do that. They got to do some other 90 races and stuff. And I think our man from northwest-ish, north central, Harrison, Arkansas, Mr. Garrett Keister took the win home. But I mean, do we need to throw I have some questions.
Yeah, they had it on the dyno all week, and they're teasing with this RP exhaust and
I'm
not even really a mud specialist. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, flat track guy.
I don't know if the guy's ever rode mud in his life.
Yeah, and I'm not saying. I just wanted to open the door for the conversation that
he won by a long shot.
He won. I don't remember if it's by a long shot. But
yeah, he won pretty good.
Hey, Dominic Toretto said it best in the 2000 hit in the box office, Fast and the Furious. He says, winning is winning. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Dominic Toretto, Fast and the Furious.
Oh, it's good. Winning is winning.
That's
right.
Yeah. He said that to one Brian Spillner, the undercover cop. Go watch it. It was a great movie.
Yep. One of the 12 that are out there.
Yeah. How many times can we be Fast and Furious? And so,
then you get 2 and then 4 and then you get 10 and then you're furiously fast at that point.
Furiously fast. Yeah. So, but anyways, they ended up having to. It was a rain out. They weren't able to get it all together and whatnot.
No, Mother Nature just poured it out on them.
Yeah.
All the hype and everything for the neat to get going, and it ended up being the BTR race Friday night, and then the
which is kind of cool.
90. Yeah, it is cool.
How cool is that?
I was kind of jealous though because I wanted to be in that little mud 90 race.
Oh yeah,
'cause I think I could have ate a cheeseburger or something before it and had extra traction.
Yes,
and yeah,
absolutely. You weren't gonna have to worry about falling off the machine,
right? And then throw some cross country moves on them.
MX would work too. You could have thrown some MX skills in there too.
I don't have that many MX skills. So.
Yeah, I've seen you jump. You're good on MX. Don't you try to join Super D side. Okay.
Well, he is a cross country racer.
I'm just gonna float the middle here.
Okay, that's right because he can do both. He's not afraid to jump. I've seen him. He'll send it.
The Via Media.
The Via, yeah.
Indeed. It's Latin for the middle ground.
Yep, I heard you say that. You told us. It was good.
Yeah, man. Couple of really, really cool and exciting weekends. So the Neat, they will pick up their series again at Just Passing Thru on June the 8th.
Yeah, it's coming up
there
soon.
at Just Passing Thru. So I'm excited to tune in and see that. I kind of want to know. I wonder if that same vendor, Tennessee Smokehouse, will be there again, and if Eric will go up in the bucket truck.
Yeah, might need to arrange and make that happen. The barbecue joint. I just need to send them a message. The bucket truck's still there.
The bucket truck is still there.
You got it all warmed up and ready for him. It was a good point of view.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, stellar job, dude. Because when you had originally talked about it, I was kind of walking around looking. I'm like, where is going to be a good point here? So
at first, I was thinking, well, just some of the rigs that were parked close to the fins. I was like, well, I'll just get on top of it. And even Beth was like, man, we wanted to park our rig down here because you can stand on top of the trailer and it would have been perfect, but the ground was a little squishy, and so we weren't able to park for as far as down as we wanted to. And then I saw that bucket truck and I was like, And then you were like, so how are we both going to get in there? And I was like, I don't think we do. I think this is a one at a time type of deal.
It's a one-man show. Yeah. You did a great job. Yeah,
one man
really
bucket.
did.
One man, but yeah, the power line guy over here is trying to get. Okay, now this is how you do this, and I don't remember anything you said. I just started twisting levers, and when it went up, I went up.
Need to get a love tub up there.
Oh, is that the two?
That's a 2-man bucket. That's what we call them. The love tub.
I don't think that was.
We're up here. We're coming to you live from Just Passing Thru in the love tub.
Yeah,
that
and people immediately turn it off.
Yeah, we're out of here.
We're out.
We didn't sign up for this. Facebook's it's getting reported, getting blocked, spam. All the things. But man, good weekend. So much fun. Thanks for the Midwest Series for having us out. Gonna be good. One of the things,
One of the things.
No, that's a later. That's for podcast 50. I can't say that yet. I was jumping the gun. Sorry,
he was jumping
the start. Well, we'll quit recording and I'll tell you.
Okay. Oh, well, okay. It'll be a surprise to me as well.
Yeah.
So.
what else you got, man?
Hey,
we're an hour and 29 in on this one.
well, we might as well go to an hour and 35 then while we're at it. Because
weird number. Okay.
I should have said an hour and 37 minutes. That would make a lot more sense.
Oh yeah,
really,
137.
you know.
I mean, I teed it up for you.
Yeah, you did, and I just totally. It's getting late. It's really late. I need to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm in bed an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, about 9 o'clock for sure. Just a closing thought. So we had a couple of EDT churches, if you will, at Just Passing Thru. They will have EDT church will be happening at the NEAT races as well on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So really, really excited that people are stepping up and helping out and making this thing happen. And we really want to encourage everybody to get out there and be at church in the mornings, man.
Yeah. And if you don't know the time or where it's at, man, drop us a message and we will, you can message Remain in the Race. You can message me directly, Mitch directly, and we'll get you pointed in the right direction. So
who's leading the service there?
So we got Mr. Quinn Michael and Eric Ashcraft are our two guys that are going to be leading over at
So you could also
NEDT.
message Mr. Eric Ashcraft.
you could Mr. Eric Ashcraft with Whitetail Outdoor Encounters.
Close Encounter Whitetail Outfitters, CEWO.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be the Mr.
/ Dragon Race Fuels / Chucky Creek Chucky Creech Racing
/ EDT Racing Channel
/
all around great guy.
all around great guy.
He's got a lot of credentials, like
media mogul.
Yeah.
/ the voice of EDT Racing.
Yeah.
My goal is to strip him of that title. I want to be the voice of EDT Racing. I want to be the voice of all quad racing.
Yes, you could.
But they're the
new Weege.
I want to be the new Weege. They're the guys that do the cross country stuff. Mikey Wayne, like they're cool dudes. But I'm coming for you, man. I will be the voice. I want to be known as the voice of quad racing. So if anybody has an in with Racer TV, my email, you can email me at remainintherace@gmail.com. I'm trying to get there. So I think I had a pretty good audition for rounds 2 and 3 of the Midwest Series, coming to you live from Just Passing Thru. Make sure you use our code. That's kind of my joke now, is anytime I'm talking to people, hey, man, it's good to see you. I hope everything's going well. Make sure you use our code at checkout. That is RITR15 at checkout to say.
It's got all the codes. You got to have them listed
man.
out. We get your codes right around here. So
What else, boy?
I think you meant round 3 and 4.
See, why'd you have to bring it up, dude?
yeah, you do have to fact check around
I'm your
here.
biggest critic.
That's
good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. You, Mitch, Dodd, Kyle. It looks kind of slow out there.
I didn't say anything about it, man.
You didn't look slow. You just didn't look as fast as the other guy.
You looked tame.
Oh,
That's even worse.
oh.
I hate all of you. I just want y'all to know, both of you turd heads' life was in my hands Sunday night coming home.
We were.
And at any point, like I feel very confident in my eternal destiny. And y'all keep this up. I have no problems letting go on that wheel and just saying, God, it's in your hands now.
It is
in
true.
your hands.
Yeah,
I was catching some flies.
I heard the rumble strip several times, and finally I was like, you know what?
it was
I don't
great.
care anymore.
Well, I was watching as soon as everybody was good and asleep.
Yeah, he did it the first couple times, and then after that, I was like, yeah,
that's the thing.
whatever.
Like, hey, if we crash, man, I'm going down with my buddies. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We're dead. Yeah, I definitely wasn't making it. We were strong till midnight, and then those last 3 hours, that was all you, my friend.
It was fun because we were pumped. We were just talking about all things EDT racing and the weekend, and it was so good. And then it's like after the last stop, it's like, yeah, man, is it? And then I'm like, what happened to everybody? So, man, I put in my AirPods, dude. I was jamming out. And then once I'd kind of look around. Ryder was asleep 4 minutes in, so he's gone. And then I was watching YouTube. And as soon as I get this, I just.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Then I kind of jerk a little bit. Like, oh, did you say something? Sorry. Sorry about that, guys.
That's good.
Good times.
Good
All right.
times.
We're almost to 135.
Okay. Well, I think we can probably put a bow on this baby. Super D, you want to close us out? Put a bow on it. Oh, you just have to make this a 2-minute prayer, my friend.
Oh, don't. I can nail the short prayer. Now, there's some guys that around the table, like, stretch it out.
Yeah.
I got you. Father God, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for all your many blessings. I just thank you for allowing us to do what we do. It is so exciting to be able to spend time in your creation with friends that you get to know at the racetrack with family, God. And I just thank you for allowing us the opportunity to do what we do. So I pray that you would just watch over us, watch over all the listeners, just bless them as they go throughout their week and in everything they do, that they would just bring glory and honor to your name. In Jesus' name,
amen.
Amen. Well, hey, thanks for listening, and we will catch you in the next one.